Week one of this $1,000 Vanguard tournament started this week, and I drew Armoredman in week one, who's one of the strongest players in Chrono right now. I've got a great game to show for you today. I'm going to break down both decks and then do some commentary over the VOD. Enjoy.
I'm on this soup deck using Peaceful Synthesizer and Holder of the Instrument. The win cons are Starfield Medic and Bare Knuckle Inquisitor. It uses Bearer of the Broth and Soup to draw more cards. After the Persistent Squire nerf, Peaceful Synthesizer is my single favorite diver in the game. I think it is one of the strongest cards out there, so I'm very happy to be playing it. Armored Man is on a very cool Planet Seeder combo deck. The point of this deck is to use Planet Seeder's cost reduction on created cards and Sunbringer Artillerist to generate infinite 1-mana Sunshocks. It's got Recursion with Redactionist to bring back Sunbringer Artillerist if you happen to kill it. It's got Forgotten Tale to spawn in a second Planet Seeder. The combo really starts to take off once you've got 2 cost reductions. And importantly for this matchup, they have 12x answers to my threats, and I only have 6 threats, which means I'm going to have to play very tactfully and not just YOLO my dudes into removal.
This is going to be a fun matchup because Armored Man is one of the strongest players in the game right now. He's created a new archetype that multiple players have taken to rank 1, I think, including him. But for today, he's not on it. He's doing another deck that I think is also of his own creation. This mulligan, I'm looking for 1-drops, 2-drops, Firm Hand, and Medic, as well as Backhand. Luckily, we've got a Backhand. It's a really important one to have in this kind of matchup because that 2-3 is going to be very annoying, and if they drop an early Medic, it's often one of the only things that they can do on a turn like turn 4 or 5 before Medic levels, but before also they're able to get to that turn 6 with their 6-drop. I'm taking an interesting line here and playing very, very slowly. I don't have any shifts in my hand, so I'm going to really be cautious about letting them get to the void. They've got the 1-mana Return to Stillness in their hand, and I didn't want to let them return to stillness and then have me be stranded in the void. Now, if they're willing to develop like this with banking no mana, I'm of course willing to develop and try to challenge them, but I'm really hoping to draw some kind of shift to get out of the timeline as soon as possible. Backhand on the 2-3 is really important here, keeping Peaceful Synthesizer alive. Peaceful Synthesizer is one advantage I have in the matchup. I definitely am down removal versus threats, and I can't really remove their threats. But the 2 things I have going for me is, number 1, my threats come on sooner, and number 2, Peaceful Synthesizer. So the infinite mana from Peaceful Synthesizer, 1 every single turn, is just too valuable. I got to keep it alive. After a turn like this, I'm looking to go double Bearer of the Broth, try to find the Firm Hand or just some way to shift into a better timeline. I do actually want to, land this 2-drop that I've got in my hand, land all of my healing. I do need to level up Medic because Medic's going to be an important piece of the game plan. Luckily, I do draw a Firm Hand here, and it allows me a lot more comfortable way to play out my hand instead of just going Bearer of the Broth, Bearer of the Broth. This way, I get to go Firm Hand, I get to chill. This way, their blocker is a lot less effective, and I'm able to even get in a little bit of a cheeky attack, because one important facet of this turn is they have Pressure Spike, very likely in their hand, on a turn like this, and 4 damage Pressure Spike is going to kill my Bearer of the Broth, which is something that it's like fine for the first Bearer of the Broth to go down, but on a turn like this where they're looking to play exactly 2 mana worth of stuff. So giving them the opportunity to play exactly 2 mana worth of stuff, perfect bank for the overflow. They need to overflow for supernova reasons, and letting them perfect bank with supernova and kill my threat in the same way is like just too crazy. So it's really good that we're able to at least force them to decide between overflowing and killing my threat. And it's not really a threat, the Bearer of the Broth. It's just drawing cards. But they decide to overflow, which means that they likely have a supernova in hand, or at least are planning to draw one. They open up with the Pressure Spike, but by now I've got the mana to defend it. Interestingly, the 6 mana that I would have had I not done this, like this actually does meaningfully disrupt my play, even though it only took 1 mana away from me. I was planning to Bear the Broth and Soup, but now I'm forced to kind of pivot and do this weird line where I have to just play a 2-drop, not Bearer of the Broth, and kind of leave my Bearer of the Broth out to die. It lets me bank 3 into next turn, but the way that they play this turn 5 out is really going to decide whether or not I play around Quiet Repose. They try to kill my guy. They do so. Sorry about the frame rate. I tried to rescue the frame rate by chopping up the footage, but they do bank Ruination Mana, so I do play into it. Open attack. They kill my guy. Moving through this quickly because the frame rate got absolutely destroyed, but we're back to normal footage now. Sorry about that. Yeah, having double Bear of the Broth is something that is fairly common in a deck like Soup, and interestingly, you actually just don't have enough mana to play both Soups every turn, so letting one of them die is not that big of a deal. The opponent, in a savvy fashion, decides not even to kill one of the Bear of the Broths and leave me with my double Soups. I've got another leveled up dog. Now the opponent's on 14. They've got a 6-drop going on. They've overflowed a couple of times for Supernova. The game is going quite well for them so far. My situation's definitely not super good, but one advantage I do have is I've got protection and I've got threats and I've double Bear of the Broth, so I can draw into a lot of stuff, and hopefully I can apply a lot of pressure. Especially since I've got an open attack next turn. They're not really going to let me develop in because they can always just play Guy and then summon copies of it. So it's kind of has to always be open. It's a bit unfortunate that I didn't find a Throw into the Sun quickly in this matchup. Throw into the Sun turn 6 on their 6-drop is often a very important way for Soup to counterplay against this kind of deck. The opponent uses the +3/+3 in a very cool fashion to kill my guy, so now I'm down to 1 Bear of the Broth. An interesting pass from them. It's pretty smart for them to pass. I think generally passing favors the Supernova deck. I know, crazy. So I'm forced to play in here. I've got a way to protect my medic from Pressure Spike, which is kind of the main consideration that I was making before dropping her to the board. Typically, you want to maintain a board size of about 3 into a Pressure Spike deck. Of course, you can't always do so, especially when you're trying to go wide and push damage in the way that I am. And with the opponent on 8, we're going to need to land a threat for multiple turns on the board. That's a really nice draw. We'll be able to recall her and replay it. Spending the phase draw card. Spending the phase draw card early feels pretty bad, especially when we've got a fleeting Soup that we wouldn't be able to play. So the Chronicle is a really awesome draw. Opponent decides to copy their guy. Now, another interesting facet about Destiny Ripper and Muffle is that you can cancel the Muffle progress, or you can cancel the Destiny Ripper progress and not let the Destiny Ripper level up on the Muffle. So if they have the combo Destiny Ripper plus Muffle, it doesn't even matter as long as you cancel that first silence. So opponent deciding to copy up their Destiny Ripper means they probably don't have another unit developed that's any relevant. So their hand's likely some garbage ass spells, maybe some Supernova, maybe some Quiet Repose. They banked into it earlier. So this isn't unexpected at all. It's finally time to use the phase. This isn't a card that you want to hold until the hyper late game because it does draw you a card, so drawing cards earlier than later is always good. Gives yourself more options. And from here on out, I get to kind of demonstrate why Soup is such a good deck, and the reason for that is you just get to pass so much more than other decks can. Now, opponent starts resummoning my stuff. I kind of expected them to just take my 5-drop and hit me with it, but instead they go for the Soup, and I think they misunderstood how Reactionist works, because what they were trying to do was double Soup. The fact that they're trying to draw in a situation where they could have just taken my Challenger, hit me in the face with it, means to me that they've got a pretty bad hand with not too much value in it. The fact that they're reaching kind of desperately for Soups. So I want to try to not let this Redactionist level up pretty much by any means necessary. because they can revive my other Bearer of the Broth, draw even more. And of course, healing is very valuable against a deck like mine. Now, I finally have a good moment to throw into the sun. There's 6-drop. It's obviously a little bit late behind the curve, but better late than never. And of course, on a turn like this, where they have 8-drop plus Supernova, doing it before the 8-drop hits is like, can be the difference between winning and losing the game. And indeed, in this game, it is. It would have definitely made a difference. Now, they finally find a moment to get their 8-drop down. And as Soup, you got to just try to punish as hard as you can. I've been kind of tapping to 0 every turn to try to force them to not drop their Planet Seeder, but finally they found the space to drop the Planet Seeder. They've got their discount, so they'll be looking to land another one and get their 1 mana Sunshocks infinitely. There is actually another version of this Planet Seeder Infinite combo deck that runs Jury, because Jury refunds 1 mana every time, so you do actually get infinite. I think Armoredman's version I think is better, because you don't actually need the infinite to win. You just need the 1 mana over and over and over. But now Armoredman is in a difficult position because they're down to 10 life, and I've developed both of my important threats to the board. But unfortunately, they did find the dog. I really was hoping they didn't have the last pressure spike. That is the 3rd copy. So I didn't really expect them to have it, but they played it very nicely by sandbagging that to the very, very last prio. And here they come with the 1 mana Sunshocks. So the way that Artillerist works is the next copy costs 2 more than the current one. So if it's reduced by 1, it'll go 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 cost, 4 cost, instead of 1 cost, 3 cost, 5 cost, 7 cost. Whereas if you have 2 kilns developed, it'll be 1 cost, 1 cost, 1 cost, 1 cost forever. And that's kind of the win con of this deck. They use Redactionist to bring back Artillerist. It's a very, very cool combo. Now, in a position like this, I'm a little bit behind, but what I want to do is wait out my healing to see if I need to heal my 5-drop or my Nexus. Now, that is an interesting draw. I'm back in the game now. So I have to decide whether I want to, when to develop the medic is the big question for me. And I decide to greed a little bit and go with Minia first. The reason for this is it's literally just 1 more damage. The medic heals Nexus and both units, which is 2 level up progress plus 1 damage. And at this point in the game, I'm just scrapping for every point of damage that I can get. I'm trying to burn them out, and with double dogs can give me back extra Sunshocks and extra heals, which are both going to be worth more damage. So the opponent seems like they're at a removal, and maybe they've got a Quiet Repose, but they can't really afford to Quiet Repose and then just die in response. So this is just I'm feeling super good about my chances, because what I can do is, even though I'm not in the 1 true timeline, I can just pass and use the medic overflow to generate my healing and win with the brawler damage. So it really does force the opponent to respond. And of course, I've got a 2nd Chronicle to recall my unit should they get targeted by something. So round 12, I can just afford to cold pass. Technically, I could just open attack, but the thing about open attack is they have a lot of fast speed removal, and they have muffle, which is the main thing I'll worry about. 2nd muffle, they pass back, and suddenly they're just totally dead, because my dogs give me back my Sunshock, and I can recall my threats. I almost have them dead from hand here, but I only have 5 damage, so I need to somehow get them to either kill one of my dogs, or let my medic hit, or let my brawler hit. I'm 1 damage off lethal here, and the opponent really, really needs to level up the Redactionist and revive some healing. So I'm pretty much just going to take any damage they send at me. I would not block anything, even if they sent everything. I'm Soup. I'm not going to die from burn damage against a deck like this. So opponent is pretty much checkmated from this point. And this is really the power of Soup, where Look, I'm not even in the one true timeline. If I was in the one true timeline, I would be doing double damage, but I can just sit back and grill from the backline, heal up my Nexus, heal up my units, and force the opponent to come to me. And this deck really generates a lot of reactivity and forces the opponent to come to you. So now they've got their second kill down, true infinite on the 1 mana stuff. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't remove all of my threats, which means I've got the bare knuckle medic combo, and I could just pass the turn and just deal damage at round start every time and win at burst speed. GG.